with a particular organization here today, on behalf of an organization?
Well, I'm really representing Ocean Future Society, which I created after my father passed away to honor his philosophy. I had the immense privilege to work with him since I was a little kid. He put a tank on my back when I was 7 years of age, and I've been scuba diving ever since. I never stop. It's been 71 years. I will never stop because we keep discovering new species and bringing it to the attention of decision makers. And to be able to pass on the information to young people, the decision makers of tomorrow, is one of our goals. But I also go and sit down with decision makers, never criticize them, try to reach their heart, their families, their children, but their obligations, unfortunately, are short-term, either to be reelected or to make a profit. But I want them to realize that, you know, because they have children, they have to think about them as well and make that bridge, and we can do it. And I think in as much as today we're having problems with the decision makers, I think it's a wake-up call for the population. Let's not forget that at the end of the day, we are the ones making the decisions, not the very few people who are in government supposedly representing us. And in this particular case, the people who are supposed to make decisions or suggest decisions are representing a minority of the population. And the system is not well set up. We, as a population, have a voice, and that voice should be heard.
And I imagine that because of your father's extraordinary work in this area and, you know, familiarizing the public with the wealth and the abundance and the beauty of marine life in the sea, your experience with all of it, you've seen in a very personal way the impact that climate change has had on marine life. Could you tell us a little bit about that? What have you seen over the course of your life in terms of how climate change has impacted the oceans?
Well, the majority of the places where I used to swim, snorkel, dive when I was a kid are dead. The fish are dead. I took pictures of dead fish. The coral reefs in other parts of the world are dying. You have 20 to 25% of the coral reefs are already dead. The acidification of the ocean is a catastrophe because it doesn't allow, and that's because of the emission of CO2, which affects the ocean, not only the temperature, which makes the ocean expand and rise, and that energy that is in the heat makes any storms and hurricanes stronger. And that's why you have devastation taking place along coastlines. Ultimately, 20% of Florida will disappear. Many islands in the Pacific, which are nations, small island nations, will disappear. I've met 27 presidents or prime ministers of those nations, and about half of them, they are very concerned that in the next 10, 15, 20 years, they won't be there because their country highest part is 12, 15 feet above sea level. So we have huge issues that we need to address. And the privilege that we have as decision makers in big nations like the United States, France, Australia, and England, and Germany, and so on, we need to make much, much better decisions to help those who don't have this privilege that we have, particularly for people who are starving, who cannot be educated when you starve. And we need to take care of that as well in order to make sure that ultimately they can be educated and make much, much better decisions. And it's going to happen. I think the present situation by the people in place in the government of this nation is waking up the population in the United States. And in a way, it's good. It's good because we know we have to do something, and we will, and we are.
And, as you may be aware, President Trump is not in Washington today. He's gone to Pennsylvania, where he says he's going to be holding his own celebration of his 100th day in office. Given his what appears to be insensitivity to the demands of the public, do you think that conventional forms of protest, such as we're likely to see today, are sufficient, or do you think we need to escalate and engage in more aggressive, albeit lawful, forms of protest in order to have our message heard?
I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in aggressivity. I never point a finger. There are three fingers pointing at me. I believe in sitting down and reaching the heart and having a way to convince those people to make better decisions. I've done that with President Bush, with President Zedillo in Mexico, with French president, with people in different parts of the world, and most of the time, it works.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Jean-Michel, and I wish you a great march.
Thank you very much.